with A Charlie Brown Christmas, they fed the lines to the kids and then recorded them repeating it with the right inflection.
Yeah.
Here it was like, oh, mother, I love him. Thank you.
Yeah, and because at least that Charlie Brown Christmas, their first special, you can tell, like, at least once you know it, you can tell that they were fed the line and then they repeated it because it's got almost stilted at times, you know, you can tell that they're reciting something, but it comes off as charming and effective there, and here it just came off as the opposite of that.
Right, it is effective. It sounds like my 7-year-old daughter, like, repeating something with a word she doesn't understand. Like with Sally, when asking for, how about 10s and 20s? My 7-year-old doesn't understand what the expression 10s and 20s means regarding money.
Yeah. Going back to the special, it definitely, as soon as it starts with this, it's like, oh, so it's like the Velveteen Rabbit.
Yes, let's get into that.
And then she immediately gets sick, and it's exactly like the Velveteen Rabbit.
Okay, so you know the Velveteen Rabbit. We're introduced to these 3 real live rabbits. They see Stuffy. Stuffy was left out in the snow next to a snowman. They find him left outside, and they realize he's not a real rabbit. And they're perplexed by this, and then Stuffy, you hear his internal monologue going, but I am real, I am! But he doesn't move his mouth, because he's not real yet. But yeah, it pulls directly from the Velveteen Rabbit. Did you pick up on that right away?
Yeah, but definitely by the time she got sick, but even whenever it was the other bunnies, what do they call them? They have names, but they call them something bunnies. Anyway,
I don't remember them having a name. It's just, but Burl Ives introduced them as 3 real live rabbits trying to pull this very elaborate, stupid carrot heist that never comes up again. But
yeah, Charlton bunnies or something. I don't know. He says
could be.
But anyway, yeah. Whenever they were that scene that you were just referencing, where you hear his internal monologue, I was like, okay, yeah, like because she loves him or something. He's gonna become the Easter rabbit. And then, you know, the next scene is when she's getting sick.
Right. And even as a kid, I thought they totally just ripped this off the Velveteen Rabbit. I didn't know here it's supposed to actually be loosely based on the book. But when I was a kid, I was just like, hey, that's from something else.
Yeah, I saw on the Wikipedia page it says, you know, loosely and based on this, but, you know, nowhere in the credits it doesn't say that. So, I mean, yeah, I would have thought that they ripped it off.
I don't know if that book was public domain yet or not, but an odd choice that they just don't mention it. And it's just maybe the first chunk of this, and then they don't need it anymore. They don't come back to it at all.
Yeah, because Calliope comes.
Calliope.
Which is not from the Velveteen Rabbit.
Well, I mean, not the name Calliope, but...
Is it? I really don't remember how he gets turned into a real bunny in the Velveteen Rabbit, other than the power of love.
It's very, very similar. So Glinda gets sick with scarlet fever, and the doctor tells Mom to burn all of her old clothes and her old toys, including Stuffy. And so we have Stuffy sitting outside a pile of things to be burned, sheds a real actual tear for his life. And from that tear grows a flower from which a fairy emerges, saying, because you were real to the little girl who loved you, you shall now be real to everyone. I'm paraphrasing there, but that line is taken almost directly from the Velveteen Rabbit, of that fairy explaining to the rabbit in the book that you were real to the little boy who loved you, and now you shall be real to everything.
Okay.
I think that's what gets me off. Is like, wait,
the Velveteen Rabbit. I just remembered the power of love.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's a curious thing.
The power of love. Back to the Future.
Happy Back to the Future Day. Oh, I fit it in and I didn't even try. Brandon, have you ever been so sick that you had to, like, get rid of something you loved?
Actually, yes.
Oh.
Sort of.
I have not, but I just figured I'd throw it out there.
Well, you had posted this in the show notes you sent to me, and
yes.
I did not have scarlet fever as a child to burn all this stuff because I was not living in the turn of the century or whenever they're supposed to be at. But I did have that allergy that I developed as a kid, and I was allergic to dust and dust mites and stuff. And so, like, my parents had to, like, take up the carpet in my bedroom and put in hard flooring. And I had a bunch of stuffed animals. I really liked them. And the doctor's like, oh, you can't keep those around.
Oh.
And so, like, I didn't have to burn them. My parents got rid of them. Luckily, it was the 80s and puffalumps were a thing.
Wow.
Do you remember those?
I do.
They were like stuffed animals made out of like windbreaker material.
Yeah.
and so you could wipe them off. Like I was allowed to have those, so I had a couple of those that replaced all of my teddy bears and other stuff.
Oh wow, I remember them. I didn't have any because I had allergies, but they weren't that bad that I had to get rid of everything. But puffaloes, wow, I haven't thought about those in a long time.
Yeah, they were the only ones I was allowed, so I remember them.
So these 3 real live rabbits are trying to pull off some kind of carrot heist. And they're like these streetwise. You have Whiskers, who is Don Messick, who has been everybody from Scooby-Doo to like every dog. Astro, he's Muttley, Papa Smurf, Ranger Smith, Boo Boo Bear. Here he's got this streetwise New York accent.
We're gonna dig a long tunnel under all the carrot patches in the neighborhood while nobody's around. And when spring comes, we're gonna come back and steal the carrots from underneath.
Totally undetected.
And we have Spats, and Paul Frees is back.
Yeah.
He's the ghost who follows you home.
Welcome, foolish mortals, to the haunted mansion.
More on him later, but Spats is the well-dressed brains of the operation. And then we have Flops, very long-eared rabbit voiced by Stan Freberg. Are you familiar with Stan Freberg?
Yes. And now that you ask me, I can't say how.
Okay.
But I knew his name, and I know that he... As soon as you say it, I'll remember it. But I'm blanking on why I know him.
It's a lot of little things. He worked with Mel Blanc a lot on some early Looney Tunes.
Oh, here's what I remember him mostly for. I just remember that.
Okay.
Go ahead, and I will butt back in. I want to check this before I open my mouth.
Okay. There are so many things. I mean, the thing that comes to mind immediately for me is the Three Little Bops Looney Tunes cartoon, and he does pretty much all the voice work for that. He's the pigs, he's the big bad wolf, he's the singer, the narrator.
All right. What he is to me is the beaver on Lady and the Tramp.
Okay. Yes.
That's the role that I knew him from.
Mm-hmm. He's a beaver from Lady and the Tramp. But strangely, I thought that was the same. I don't think... Because that beaver is very similar to Gopher from Winnie the Pooh from those movies. Not Stan Freberg, I don't believe.
I don't think so. But. When you come to Stan Freberg's IMDb page, like the known for, the top thing is Lady and the Tramp as the beaver.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which is kind of surprising considering how much he's done. No, he is not Winnie the Pooh. It's Beaver.
No.
Or Gopher. He's not in the book, you know.
But yeah, Stan Freberg did a lot of early comedy recordings, like radio shows and comedy records and voice acting. Again, I mentioned he was often paired with Mel Blanc a lot, so if you hear two voices kind of mingling together, it's not Mel Blanc twice. Stan Freberg's the other one. They kind of do a lot of the same voices. So, you know, Hubie and Bertie the mice. Stan Freberg was Chester the little dog, next to Mel Blanc, Spike the bulldog. And then he was the narrator on a little show called The Wuzzles. Do you remember The Wuzzles?
Yes. Again, I remember the toy more than the show, but I do remember that show being on.
Well, I mean, let's think about it. Supposedly, this whole episode takes place on that day, and that seems kind of impossible, but okay.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that bit, yeah. They could have run this on Leap Day, because every show on Must See TV Thursday that Leap Day was a rerun.
Oh, man.
So they could have done it, but...
Missed opportunity.
But let's leap into this one, and we open with Frasier's dad, Martin, played by John Mahoney.
Hey, Daphne! You seen Eddie?
No, I haven't.
Just doesn't feel right to start the day without him licking me awake.
Well, don't look at me.
And since I wasn't much of a Frasier watcher, I know him best as the dad from Say Anything.
He's also played David Hyde Pierce and Kelsey Grammer's father on at least two other things.
Other than The Simpsons?
The Simpsons.
Other than The Simpsons,
is one.
That's one, yeah.
But then there was another show. Oh gosh, what was it called? It was something like it was basically about like famous actor and like the people who played their father. Whatever. Okay. I forget what it was called.
I don't know. I didn't see Say Anything until like the mid-late 2000s. So
okay.
I mainly know John Mahoney as the dad.
Okay.
He's so great. And what Primal Fear, is that the movie he's in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw Say Anything.
Oh, really? Okay.
I've seen Wolf.
Is he in Wolf?
I've seen Primal Fear.
8 Men Out is the other one that comes